Today, Sunday, January 28th, the Church celebrates the feast day of St. Thomas Aquinas. St. Thomas Aquinas was born in Rocca Secca in the Kingdom of Naples around 1225 or 1227. He died in Fossa Nuova on March 7th, 1274. Landulph, his father, was Count of Aquino. Theodora, his mother, Countess of Teano. He was of noble lineage. He was diligent in study, early on noted as being meditative and devoted to prayer, and his preceptor was surprised at hearing the child ask frequently, "What is God?" Sometime between 1240 and August 1243, he received the habit of the order of St. Dominic, being attracted and directed by John of St. Julian, a noted preacher of the monastery of Naples. The city wondered about how such a noble young man should don the garb of a poor friar. His mother, mingled with feelings of joy and sorrow, hastened to Naples to see her son. The Dominicans, fearing she would take him away, sent him to Rome, his ultimate destination being Paris or Cologne. At the insistence of his mother, Theodora, Thomas's brothers, who were soldiers under the Emperor Frederick, captured the novice near the town of Aquapendente, and confined him to the fortress of San Giovanni at Rocca Secca, where he was detained nearly 2 years. His parents, brothers, and sisters endeavored by various means to destroy his vocation. His brothers even laid snares for his virtues, but the pure-minded novice drove the temptress from his room with a brand which he snatched from the fire. Towards the end of his life, St. Thomas confided to his faithful friend and companion, Reginald of Piperno, the secret of a remarkable consolation received at that time. When the temptress had been driven from his chamber, he knelt and most earnestly implored God to grant him integrity of mind and body. He fell into a gentle sleep, and as he slept, 2 angels appeared to assure him that his prayer had been heard. Then they girded him about with a white girdle, saying, "We gird thee with the girdle of perpetual virginity." And from that day forward he never experienced the slightest motions of concupiscence. Thomas pronounced his vows and was placed under Albertus Magnus, the most renowned professor of the order. In 1245, Albert was sent to Paris, and Thomas accompanied him as a student. In 1248, both returned to Cologne. During his stay in Cologne, around 1250, he became a priest by the order of Conrad of Holstein, archbishop of that city. St. Thomas was given the degree of Doctor in Theology on October 23, 1257. From this time, St. Thomas' life may be summed up in a few words: praying, preaching, teaching, writing, journeying. Men were more anxious to hear him than they had been to hear Albert, whom St. Thomas surpassed in accuracy, lucidity, brevity, and the power of exposition, if not in universality of knowledge. Paris claimed him as her own. The popes wished to have him near them. The studia of the order were eager to enjoy the benefit of his teaching. Hence we find him successively in Agnone, Rome, Bologna, Orvieto, Vibero, Perugia, and Paris again, and finally in Naples, always teaching and writing, living on the earth with one passion, an ardent zeal for the explanation and defense of Christian truth. So devoted was he to this sacred task that with tears he begged to be excused from accepting the offer of being Archbishop of Naples, to which he was appointed by Clement IX in 1265. Had this appointment been accepted, most probably the Summa Theologica would not have been written. On December 6, 1273, he laid aside his pen and would write no more. That day he experienced an unusually long ecstasy during Mass. Thomas began his immediate preparation for death. Gregory X, having convoked a general council to open in Lyons on May 1, 1274, invited St. Thomas and St. Bonaventure to take part in the deliberations, commanding the former to bring to the council his treatise, Contra Eros Graecorium, against the errors of the Greeks. He tried to obey, setting out on foot in January of the year 1274, but strength failed him. He fell to the ground near Terracina, and was taken to the castle of Maenzia, the home of his niece, the Countess Francesca Secano. The Cistercian monks of Fossa Nuovo pressed him to accept their hospitality, and he was conveyed to their monastery, on entering which he whispered to his companion, "This is my rest forever, and ever here will I dwell, for I have chosen it." Psalm 131:14. He died on March 7, 1274. Numerous miracles attested to his sanctity, and he was canonized by John the 22nd on July 18, 1323. Although St. Thomas lived less than 50 years, he composed more than 60 works, some of them brief, some of them very lengthy. This does not necessarily mean that every word in the authentic works was written by his hand. He was assisted by many secretaries, and biographers assure us that he could dictate to several scribes at the same time. The organization of the theological thinking of his Summa Theologica is without a doubt among his greatest intellectual achievements. God of wisdom, instruct me in your ways. Help me to dedicate myself to learning more about faith, so that, like St. Thomas Aquinas, my mind and heart may be united in your love. St. Thomas Aquinas, pray that I may be disciplined in my learning, and that I may find the Lord in my heart. Amen.